Welcome our wonderful viewers. Welcome to your darling station, The Living TV. We're happy you're there. We are happy you've been watching all our programs on Living TV. Living TV is where we bring the world first to you. Today, we are back again on Nigeria Today. Nigeria Today is the current affairs program of the Living Television. And as usual, I have my guests today, regular guests with their contributions that will help you know what is going on in your country, Nigeria. I am your regular host, Chinedum Adiele. From my far left, I have Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwogo. Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwogo is a security consultant and also a practicing lawyer based here in Aba. Barrister, welcome to the program.
Thank you, sir, and good day, viewers.
I also have with me here Dr. Stanley Nduago. Dr. Stanley Nduago is a broadcaster and also a public affairs analyst. He's also into education. Doctor, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, and our distinguished viewers. I say welcome to you.
Today, we are going to look at sundry issues as it concerns our country, Nigeria. The first, today, the Minister of Education, Adamu, said government can only afford 23.5% salary increase for lecturers and 35% raise for professors. He equally said that government will provide 150 billion in the 2023 budget for the revitalization of federal universities to be disbursed in the first quarter. The minister also said that 50 billion naira, which will be provided for in the 2023 budget for the payment of outstanding end academic allowances, will also be paid in the first quarter. Not just that, 14-man panel has been set to resolve other related issues. Now, with what has happened, let me start with you, Council. We've talked about this ASU strike for quite a long time, and today the government had come up with something. It's from so many quarters in the country, a lot of people are saying the lecturers should go back to classes, that this strike should be called off based on the announcement of the federal government. Do you think this is enough for them to go back? And before you continue, remember the other time when we talked about the 1.40 billion naira, 1.4 billion naira. And we said if such amount was released to ASU, they were supposed to go back to school. And then comparing what they have done now, are they supposed to go back to classes?
Thank you, sir. You see, this has been what I have been advocating on both sides, that ASU should state their claim or their demand. Let us first get to know what they are asking. Everything, the totality of the package they are asking. And then the government should now tell us what it is offering. I recall that when we used our common patrimony to placate the cousins of our chief driver in Niger Republic by giving them 10 vehicles valued at 1.4 billion naira. I had said that if ASU had been given that amount, some of us would lend our voices and tell us to go back to class while we continue discussing other areas. What the government has done is, to my mind, not very straightforward. What they have done is promissory. We will do so from next year, being when everybody will be in the thick of elections. And they are not sure whether they are going or staying. I mean, this administration. If they had said, usually from my own part of the profession, the legal profession, when you are owing somebody and the person sues, and goes to, brings you to court to recover the money being owed, and you look for settlement or instrumental payment, either settlement or instrumental payment, the first thing that you would offer, and which the court is also interested in looking at, first and foremost, because that is your entry behavior, what is your down payment? So what is the government offering as down payment? We have about 4 months before next year. We have 4 months before January next year from now. And it has taken the government about 6 months to make this promissory offer. We will start next year, so that when you get to that time, there will be nobody on seat, because every politician would have gone home to face elections. There will be nobody on seat to hold responsible, and everybody will be at his polling booth or unit fighting for political survival. That is when you are telling us you are going to start. That's why I say that what the government is doing is not very clear. I don't want to refer to it as dishonest. At best, for now, it is not clear. What are they offering as down payment to us regarding the monetary side? I think...
You're saying what they have to look at right now.
A bird in hand
is worth millions in the
bush. Not to tell us from next year we will give you, each lecturer will get 10 billion naira as a salary and stuff like that. No, tell us as of today, going forward from here, before the end of this month, or in 1 week's time, we are crediting so and so. Second aspect of the problem, remember I said so, when we finish with us at the federal level, we are now going to go back to the second stage, being the state-owned universities, and where the governors, in my humble view, rightly refuse, because they don't have the resources to accommodate the promises made by the federal government to take place from next year, where the governors are unable to pay, and they say, sorry, I cannot. We'll go back to the trenches. Everybody will load their rifles and go back. And after some months of staying at home by the state-owned universities, the National ASUU will start another strike in sympathy, because the state-owned universities, the lecturers there, are also involved in this strike, in sympathy with ASUU or in obedience to the national body. That is also why I said every negotiation today must involve the respective, the respective states. I even suggested a way out. If you come to each zone, the commissioners for education in the respective zones could elect from, I must select one of them, oh boy, you are from Imo, go and represent all the administrations from Southeast. The one from Rivers can represent the ones from South, and so on and so forth. So that whatever is being said there and agreed upon, they will be carried along. You cannot shave my head in my absence, for God's sake. You go there and agree and tell the state governments to pay. By the time they refuse to pay, people will see them as wicked. It's not right.
All right, Dr. Ndwago, you had it 23.5 and 35% lecturers and professors respectively, and also 150 million and another 50 million. But all these things, they are only saying it will be first quarter of next year. First quarter can be April, March, April, between that time.
After the elections.
Well, I wouldn't want to cry more than the bereaved here.
Okay.
Let me wait for ASUU's reaction to the promissory offer, as counsel here said. But that is not the only issue. Increment 20-something% and 35% is also commendable. But what it is, why have they waited for this long?
6 months.
Why did they wait until the colossal damage has been done? Is it now that they have come up with the idea? And how does this affect the 2009 agreement? I am going to wait. For this evening, I'm going to have an interaction with the ASUU National President to find out their position on this. Also, Council raised a very vital issue because bigger crises are with us next year. By the time universities, lecturers of universities owned by the state governments come back, bigger crises will come. And that is one area they have not done well. States, bodies, I don't know how to describe them, should have been involved in the negotiation. Also, there is this 14-man panel set up to look into other gray areas. We don't know what their terms of reference are and what they will achieve. But one area I feel something is going to come out of is the policy of no work, no pay, which according to them, they are going to review. The major problem these lecturers have told me is that we cannot agree that for these 6 months we are not going to be paid. Now my question is, if having stayed at home for 6 months, the lecturers are also paid their salaries in full, our children have suffered. They have lost 6 months. These other politicians, their children are at semester. Who now is going to bear the brunt? Parents and the children are bearing the brunt. Lecturers will be paid according to them after the whole 6 months of being at home. Our children have been at home. I am not in support of government paying for these 6 months. I know that this will not sound well with anyone, but I believe that the no work, no pay policy should be left to stand. Council will not agree with me here, but that is what it should be. However, I still appeal to both the government and the ASUU members to reconsider their positions and allow our children to go to school. Me, I'm tired of keeping them at home. I don't know about this, my brother, whether he's still comfortable having them at home because their troubles are so much. So I pray.
Managing them in this condition.
So my prayers are that our children will get back to classes very, very soon.
All right, Council, your worry, is it about the time of the payment or that the money is small?
I don't even know what ASUU is asking in terms of monetary value, so as to know whether...
So what they are asking for is 1.2 trillion.
Going by the 2009 agreement.
The agreement, yes.
Okay. If this is the only thing government is willing to offer, 1.something billion.
150 and another 50, making it 200
billion out of 1 trillion.
Yes.
Well, that we might say is unreasonably too low. Again, I'll back it up with my reason. Are you aware that upon just announcing this, contaminously with it, the federal government, Oga Chief Driver, also announced increment in the allowances of ministers? That is, with due respect to everybody involved, that is mischievous. It would seem as if the offer to ASUU is made anticipatorily to compensate or cushion the effect and the backlash that will come from the public following the increment of salaries of and allowances of ministers. At a time like this, that we are borrowing money to pay salaries, selling national assets to pay salaries, you are announcing increment for people whose allowances run, if not into millions, hundreds of thousands. That is why I say this government, this administration is not being fair to us. They are not placing all their cards on the table. Why would it come at a time like this? Regarding what Doug said about no work, no pay, he said I might not agree with him. I have reason to agree with him and reason to disagree, because the lecturers somehow have come to a realization that anytime they stay at home, no matter the length of time, whenever the strike action ends, they will still be paid, and so they do not have any qualms resorting to strike in the first instance. By labor law, that ought to be the very last stage after every other form of negotiation has collapsed. It is the very last. But here in Nigeria, as we resort to it in the first place. So if it would serve as a deterrent, I would support it. But at the same time, the argument has to be rightly made that these lecturers cannot go to farm. The only thing they know is lecturing. All this period, many of them have been dying, falling sick, because they are not doing anything. They are not used to doing anything. Only few of them have become Uber drivers. There was this case in Lagos where a young man ordered Uber to take his girlfriend home. And it was his HOD that arrived at the scene in the Uber. So it's things like that. Yes, it's worrisome. Only few of them would go that far. Only few of them would go that far. So it's something that ought to be balanced. I do not subscribe to a situation where they will go completely empty-handed away. And at the same time, the Nigeria, as a policy, ought to make strike action to be less attractive to workers. It is too attractive today, because any time at the end of the day, one of the clauses is that no person that they insert in the agreement, no person will be victimized on account of his or her participation, any role he played during the strike action or anything leading to it. And with that, it means the no work, no pay law is swept aside.
Okay, Doc, from what Council said and what you're saying, do you think that the Nigerian system, maybe because of what they take home of our senators, our House of Assembly members, is enough to this strike action or the insistence of the ASUU?
Well, I do not know exactly how much our senators and House of Reps members are paid. But I know that they are paid very handsomely. And I know that the salary of one senator or the take-home pay of one senator and then the allowances put together can take care of 3 or 4 professors, or even much more than that. Like I told you, I don't have the correct amount. And just as what Council said, you increased the allowances, travel allowances and other things of the ministers, whereas you lecturers
was already on the high side.
On the high side already, and you are adding more. Whereas the minimum wage for ordinary worker is 30,000 naira. Whereas the senator goes home with millions of naira. And I'm sure that the ministers go home with things that are beyond 1 million naira from what I saw last. Therefore, lecturers cannot be happy that these other people who do little compared to what we do in the classroom are earning so handsomely. Personally, I'll be worried. Personally, I'll be angry. Personally, I will condemn that. Therefore, the government, as Prof said and Council said, the government is being very, very much unfair to the ordinary Nigerians. It is a government of the few, for the few, and interest of the privileged few. That is what we practice in the country.
All right, let us stop at that. We may visit it again because of what we have today. Atiku Abubakar, former vice president and the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, may thrown in the towel as Wike, Rivers State governor, has insisted on the national chairman of the party's resignation. Going Wike's lineup and the governor of Enugu State and Otom, who are members of Wike's lineup. Now they are weighing them to take up the DG. No one has accepted. And then it has continued this way. And the Wike has insisted until this chairman goes up, there is nothing to resolve in this matter. Council.
I don't think we will, that's speaking for myself, spend too much time on this. Up there, they know where they took their bath, and they know where to go and collect their cloth or their towel. They know, each of them knows what he's dragging. Wike knows what he wants. Atiku Abubakar also knows what he wants. Finally, it it's all about interest. Let them adjust their interests. But at the same time, remember that they have the larger interest of the party to contend with, and then uppermost the interest of Nigeria as a nation. I don't want to speak much about that.
Okay, Doc, you know, Wike, a lot of people are saying if Wike is out of PDP, the PDP is not going to find it very easy come 2023 presidential election. And do you think a state is enough, you know, to deprive PDP of winning, assuming they were designed to win?
This is an internal party affair to start with. It is also important to point out that these people are fighting for self-interest. Wike is fighting for his own interest to be protected, not even for the interest of the Rivers people to be protected. Wike is a bad loser. I have said it time and again. A bad loser in the sense that if it is not me, let the house crumble. Let us bring down the house simply because I did not get what I wanted. Politics should be a game of compromises. Should be a game of, okay, I am a sportsman. If I win, I take it. If I lose, I also take it in good faith. Now, coming to answer your question, Buhari became president in 2015 without winning in Rivers State. In 2019, I am sure that Buhari did not also win in Rivers State, and he also became a president. I do not think that Rivers State is the only state that will make Atiku to become president, even though they require Rivers State. Every state is important. Even Abia is important, Enugu is important. However, having done all they can to placate Wike, and yes, Wike has refused to listen, I am sure that he has had a meeting with Atiku on 2 or 3 occasions. Atiku has sent emissaries to him to placate him, and he says, no, Ayu must go. I'm sure that there are over 15 governors in PDP, and Wike is just one. I'm also aware that he has people supporting him, like the governor of Abia State, the governor of Enugu State, the governor of Benue State, maybe a few other senators supporting him. If I were Atiku, I would say let Wike go to hell. Having done all I can do to placate him, he refused. The only problem that he didn't win the presidential ticket of the party. If he had won, PDP would have been the best party. Now that he has lost, PDP and other people are devils. So Wike can go to hell. That is all I can say.
Okay, Council, looking at Wike's agitation, I think that was a gentleman agreement that if Mr. President candidate is coming from the north, the national chairman of the party should also not be from the north. That has been his major contention. Do you think there is anything wrong with that?
There is merit in his argument if you look at even our constitution about spread and federal character. It has also been a norm. But unfortunately, our brethren from the northern part of the country will always like to shift goalposts anytime it suits their purpose. Any position can be justified with the necessary argument. It is one thing for him to feel that way, but do not forget that in democracy, in politics, it's a game of numbers. So the majority will always try to protect their own interests. Whichever area it is favoring them, they will lean to that area outside, irrespective of really the arguments you have. If he's insisting Yochi Ayu should go because the presidential candidate is already from the north, it is not an unreasonable expectation or demand. It is how far he now takes it that makes the difference.
Okay, before we go on break, the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, has said there could be problem for Nigeria if power was retained in the north. Doc, do you see this as a reasonable argument?
Reasonably, power shouldn't remain in the north after 8 years. Let's be fair and honest to ourselves. The north has had it for 8 years under Muhammadu Buhari. Nigeria is such a large country, a multi-ethnic country, diverse country, where it should be a little to the left and a little to the right. Left with me, I would say that it is wrong, very, very wrong, morally wrong, for power to remain in the north after 8 years. Remember that after Obasanjo's 8 years, it went to the north. Unfortunately, they held it for 2 years and Yar'Adua died. That was how the South came to be. In 2013, 2014, 2015, the North did everything, say, having the South, having held it for this long, it is our turn. Even those in the PDP supported APC candidates, and the power got to them. Now, after having held it for 8 years, it is morally right that power shifts to the South. Pandef may be right. I don't want them to overheat the polity. Nigeria is volatile at the moment, so we should choose our ways. I would advise Pandef to choose their ways, but morally, it is only right for power to come back to the South. Whether there's going to be a problem if power goes back to the North, that I cannot say, but I repeat, morally, power should come back to the South.
Okay, Council, talking about power coming back to, going to the South, and then if eventually goes back to Southwest, while the Southwest or South, okay, Southwest, because I'm not sure there's any contestant presidency in the South.
There are, but not from these big parties, big in quotes.
Okay. Now, assuming it goes back to Southwest, and then while the Southeast counterparts are still there, is it not as the same as leaving it in the North?
That is the problem many Nigerians are having with the candidacy of the BAT. Because the BAT is saying that it is his personal turn. Amy Loco, it is my turn.
Not our turn.
No! He is not saying anything about our turn. The turn of the Yorubas, the turn of the Southwest. No, it is his personal turn. Nigeria has become the personal property of some people, of some politicians. Just when we went for the bar conference that ended a couple of weeks ago, some Lagosians were telling us that the BAT used Lagos money to buy Lagos. So Nigeria is now the personal property, and that's the way he sees it. It is my turn. When you have done, you now give to me. When I finish,
I give to whosoever.
Another person's turn.
Another person's turn.
So the geopolitical zones, the nation, and everything is now thrown to the dogs.
All right, our wonderful viewers, thank you for being there, and we will continue. We're going to go on a very short break, and when we go back, Nigeria Today continues. Stay tuned and don't touch the dial.
Living Radio studios where we train our students of Living Television Film Academy on broadcasting. Today we are being visited by our friend, our mentor, our ally, an encourager, a motivator who has come to visit this place to see what we are doing, by the name Chief. High Chief. Uche Gabolo. Uche Gabolo was of MCL. That's where I knew him. And he gave me every encouragement when I was having a bouquet with the MCL, Channel 20, isn't it? Yeah. Today we are at 90.9 FM. You can hear him.
A gentleman of the press, I'm well excited. To be sincere, I never knew that there is something brewing in Aba, much bigger than expected. I was thinking that I'm just coming to visit a friend, maybe hard form, talk about life. But fortunately, he took me around, thinking a test. That's the God of Joshua, TV Joshua is alive. Living TV, from what I've seen, is gonna be one of the best in town. From what I've seen, Aba people and its environs will live to celebrate Living Radio and TV.
Thank you.
My promise is this, that once in a while, I promise to be a guest at the Batika.
But we want to make you a
Welcome back, our wonderful viewers. Thank you for being there. This is still Living TV. We'll bring the world first to you. It's still Nigeria today. And my discussants remain Barrister Chukwemeka Nwagwu and Dr. Stanley Ndwago, your regular hosts. We are still here. We are continuing from where we stopped. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, warned that Nigeria was at the risk of slipping into economic stagflation unless urgent measures are taken. The question now becomes, where has Nigerian economy been before now? Are they just realizing it, or are they prophesying that something heavier is going to befall Nigeria economically? Being cancelled.
Well, I don't know actually what the Lagos Chamber of Commerce is seeking to achieve by this belated and unnecessary revelation. I refer to it as belated and unnecessary because several experts have already come to the conclusion that Nigeria is a failed nation. Both experts within and outside the country. And they gave the indices of a failed nation. Of course, after it, you would know and conclude that Nigeria is already a failed nation. So for the Lagos Chamber of Commerce to wake up suddenly and start reeling out things to us, I don't know what they are trying to say. Are we going to be in a condition or situation worse than the one we have already found ourselves in, whereby we have to borrow money to pay salaries? We say we don't have money to borrow salary, to pay salaries, and we are borrowing to pay rather than borrowing to do capital projects. When we now borrow and it is time to pay the salaries, we will go and look for people who are already earning so highly, like the ministers, and increase their own. At the end of the day, everything is back to square one. We will borrow to develop infrastructure in other countries and justify whatever ineptitude, crass ineptitude that we have displayed at home here. Whereby our own infrastructure, all the indicators are down, everything done is working. The insecurity level is so high that farmers in several parts of the country are no longer going to farm. We can no longer produce the food, even the basic food we eat. We have to look for a way to import it. And so what are they trying to tell us? Is it for them to blow big grammar and give us some statistics in terms of figures and everything? So I don't know what they want to achieve. We are already there as a failed nation. So let them not panic our panic, and let them not humiliate our humiliation. He that is down, this fear, no fall.
Okay, Doc, you know, when they talk about stagflation, you're talking about inflation, you're talking about growth, stagnation in economic growth, unemployment, and so on. And they are still warning about it today, that if nothing is done.
My people have always said that whenever one wakes up, it's one's own morning.
Okay.
So I think the Lagos Chamber of Commerce has just woken up. So that is what the case may be. Unless they are trying to tell us that something worse will befall Nigeria economic-wise. And
I don't think that maybe they are buoyantly okay, and they have not reason to understand what.
We have seen 99. What is 100?
I wouldn't know. So I would have loved to ask whether they provide some solutions to it, because it's not a job of warning us that there is going to be doom. We're already there. A loaf of bread that used to go for 300 naira some years ago is now 1,100 naira. A bag of rice we knew when I bought it in 2015 was 8,000 naira. Now it is 30-something thousand naira.
As at yesterday afternoon, I know people that bought
40,000 naira. Unemployment rate is hitting almost 40%. So what else are we talking about? Where else? What are they telling us again? So we are already there. We already know the problems. I do not think that what they have said will make any news to anybody, because even a 3-year-old, 4 or 5-year-old son, a child, knows. Some time ago or some days ago, a 14-year-old child said he was tired of Nigeria and he wanted to sneak into the aircraft to be flown out of Nigeria. When asked, he said, I am tired of this country. So if a 14-year-old child could say that he is tired of this country, we know the thing. So LCCI should not scare us the more. Of course, we can't be scared any longer. We have become used to hardship. We have become used to the stagflation. Our youths have seen unemployment as a normal thing. So let them not bother us so much with.
They should stop creating unnecessary panic. They will not succeed, because
we have come used to it. So that's what
people. You wake up every morning, you hear that so many people have been killed in different parts of the country.
And if you don't hear it, you begin to ask, are we still in Nigeria?
Are we still there? The argument will be, no, it is not 30, it is 35 that died. The argument will be as to the figure. And when you do not hear it, you say, are you sure? Let me tap. In those days when we are using black and white TV, when the thing fails to come on, you slap
it this side and this side.
And then the thing will come on. So you say, this one I've not had any disaster. Let me slap my
television.
And know if we are still in Nigeria.
All right, still on that, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, said there is really no problem having two major religious groups in a country, that's the Christians and the Muslims. He attributed the main problem of Nigeria that, according to him, he said, is irresponsible leaders who, according to him, use religion as a tool of oppression rather than for liberation. That is Kuka talking about Nigerian. Do you think, Council, do you think that the problem of this country is religion? Is that what has kept us where we are?
There are two legs on which our problem or our problems are standing. Two legs. One is ethnicity. The other one is religion. The two are both radioactive and toxic. Anyhow you look at it. People try to hide under culture and tradition and use ethnicity to further their own gains. I keep on saying that no administration has divided this country the way the present administration has done. Under this present administration, we have become so divided, so factionalized. It's like to your turn to Israel, and it is not getting better. Everything is seen from the perspective of religion or ethnicity. That is it. The two, they are going together. So Bishop Kuka is very much correct. And I am happy that the comment is coming from a religious don himself. In this country, we, rather than addressing our problems, we seem to hide under prayer. When you try to address the problems and confront the problems head on and say, look, it is this way, those who are benefiting from the disorder, benefiting from that problem created under the guise of religion and ethnicity, would label you all kinds of things. It is sad that the countries that do not pray, or at least do not pray as much as we do, those countries we regard as non-praying countries, are the countries that are technologically advanced. They are making progress, their economy is stable, security is tight, and social living standards, social standards are among the best in the world. Whereas the most prayerful nation on earth, being Nigeria, is one of the most backward today. Nigeria is the second most attacked nation on earth today, after Iraq. Sometimes I even wonder if the people that came up with the study are very sure that Nigeria is the second and not the first, because the way we are going. So yes, he is very much correct in his observation, but like I said, there are two of them, religion and ethnicity. Both are toxic and radioactive.
Okay, Doc, from what Council said, that Nigeria is one of the most praying nations in the world.
We are the most praying. We are not just one, yes.
The most praying.
Of course we are.
So you take it together. Is it that God is not answering our prayers, or we are just mere religious nation?
Nigeria is a nation where we have richest pastors and poorest followers. Nigeria is a nation where religion has blinded so many people.
Did you say poor, sir? Sorry. Did you say poor followers?
Okay, poorest followers.
No, wretched.
Okay, wretched followers.
Wretched.
Very good. Here a particular GO would boast of having millions of dollars in his account, and members of the church will applaud. Right there.
Private jets.
Private jets. Not
Private
a
jets, yes.
Brought his third or fourth jet during the lockdown.
And people will be applauding the same members. We are members of the church, we contribute money to build a university, and they cannot even afford to send their own children to such universities.
Even hospitals.
A nation where a governor would know the problems of his state, I will say, let us pray that God will save us from it. I'm not against prayers, though, but we have been blinded by religion. Council said that there are countries that are less religious that are doing very well. I'm a witness to that. I lived in China where I taught. I was an English language teacher in China. There are no Christians. They are not even Muslims. Though they have their own religion, but you see those who have high moral standards We have de-emphasized moral standards and we are emphasizing religion. And all these things border on what Kuka said, irresponsible leadership. We have irresponsible leaders, and that has given religion and ethnicity the leverage to becloud whatever thing we're doing. We're in a nation where you are no longer a Nigerian, you are either a Fulani or an Igbo man. Therefore, I agree with Kuka that our problem is not mainly religion, it is part of it, but the main problem is irresponsible leadership, and I agree with him totally.
All right. We're talking about irresponsible leadership, just like Kuka mentioned, the bishop, or the Catholic bishop of something. Council, what do you think should be done? How do we reverse this?
The problem did not start in one day. It was systematic. It was gradual. Nobody saw it coming, and it grew. There are several ways of addressing it, but one major area is to de-emphasize religion. Another is to de-emphasize ethnicity. The basis for ethnicity is laid in our constitution under the guise of what we call federal character, whereby merit is sacrificed on the altar of ethnicity. If you set an exam into, maybe entrance exam into an institution, you no longer go by score. We are looking for the best 100. No. We are looking for 2 people from each state. That's what we are looking for. Such that if somebody is from Abia State and has sat for the exam and the exam is marked over 500 and the person scores 400, but because he's from Abia State and there are, let's say, 10 other people ahead of him, notwithstanding that he scored 400 out of 500, he cannot make the list. Whereas somebody, maybe from a state, any other state, let me not be specific, scores 50, and that person that scores 50 from that state is the best from that state.
Because he's from a particular state.
You are obligated to take him under federal character. They don't have a person yet. Give them a person. So the day we decide it, yes, we should also tell our religious leaders to stop worshiping money. Go to the churches today. Doc said so. Prosperity preaching, that is all you hear. Give, it shall be given unto you. Full measure, pressed down,
so
shaking together, running over. Anything that happens, I don't have job. I am unemployed. Sow seed. From where?
From where?
With what? Sow seed.
And watch what will happen.
At the end of the day, my own is to pray. It is for God to answer.
You are even at times you are even encouraged to borrow and give to God.
Yes, they don't provoke God.
Okay, have you realized that there are no other magicians on the way? When we were growing,
yes.
We used to have magicians. So they have not become pastors. And that is, answering reverend or pastor is the easiest title I can arrogate to myself.
Yes.
And just get one. There are no longer warehouses. Or if you go to primary schools on Sunday, you discover that all the primary school halls have been turned to churches.
Yeah, but that is not to say that.
Just take up your Bible and there's a way they hold it this way, and then yes, bless you, brother. Bless you. That is it. You go to the motor park and buy this thing, either cardboard, white cardboard, or plastic, and cut it and sew something and put it here. Bless you, my child. Bless you, my brother.
You see, we have.
That's not to say there are no reasons.
There are, but it is difficult to know.
There are some of us who are very real. You know.
Yeah, I know Chidera Jene is one of the real men of God.
Yes,
that I know very well.
The council knows that. I'm talking about.
Don't ask for my opinion on that.
know you know it because you started calling me prelate more than 20 years ago. Talking about religion, police rescued 15 kidnapped children and arrested a fake reverend sister in Rivers State for that court here.
Did they say she was fake? I thought she is real.
Yes, but they called her fake, but
the report I read
yes,
actually wasn't
yes,
fake.
She's real,
yes,
but they said fake because how can a real sister?
No, she's a real reverend sister from the report I read. I've not gotten any report suggesting that she's fake, but that she was now using the position. Yes, to advance the illicit cause. And recall that in those days, many of our nunneries and monasteries, convents, were places that people, the homeless, were brought up. Children that were homeless were actually brought up, taken care of, and so on and so forth. But today, everything, that's exactly the point we had made before, everything has been thrown to the dogs. So I don't have it that she's fake. I rather have it that she's real but derailed.
That's the one we know. There are several other ones. Do not forget. Not yet known. Some time ago, we had one that held some members in a dungeon. Families were held there for months and they were rescued. We also know that of Ekiti State, where a pastor was asking people to pay 400,000 for rapture. He took them to a particular place from where they will go, they will fly to heaven. And we have seen cases, several cases, where some of these pastors run motherless babies' homes that were actually baby factories. These are the things we have seen in the name of religion. And sometimes I wonder why God allows all these things to happen without giving them knock on the head so that they will take precautions.
That is why He is God. The Bible tells us that God allows the wheat and the tares to grow together, yes, but that at the appointed time, when it is time for harvesting, He would harvest the wheat. Because in the process of pulling out the tares, you might injure the wheat also. Maybe trying to knock the part of.
And He will knock the
Counsel, I know you're a lawyer. I know you also work, or rather you're related. You work in the vineyard of the Most High God too. You are an Anglican, I know that. And then, how do you think, how are we sure, when you talk about all these pastors here and there, it's not about a particular denomination and so on. Who do we trust in terms of religion, Christianity and so on?
You cannot trust anybody but God. That is the truth. The mistake we make, and that is why we keep on making the mistake and things keep on getting from bad to worse, is that we have allowed humans, mankind, to set the standards. A religion like Christianity has a yardstick, a standard, that is the Bible. You go to Islam, it is the Quran. You go to the Hindus, it is, I think they call it the Bhagavad Gita. Okay? You go to the Hebrews, they have their own, comprising the Torah, and so on and so forth. Each of these religions has its own yardstick. But human beings now begin to twist, manipulate, adjust, and bend the standards to conform to their own will, to satisfy their own selfish desires. They use it to manipulate others. And when men trust them, trust fellow men, there is disaster. But trust God and there will be no disaster.
All right, shortly before we go, because of our time, let us quickly look at this just in one more minute. PDP members connived to help Buhari win 2019 election, says Wike. Ordinarily, there is no how Buhari would have been there in 2019. But
that is a statement of fact. Yes. At least we are short of 2015.
That is the one, but you say 2019. That is 2019.
Well, we are short of
2015, but that of 2019 is where my problem lies.
Yes.
And let him be man enough to call out names, yes, so that we know.
Everybody, even the then national chairman of the PDP,
governors.
Yes, some governors. He was reported to have attended one secret meeting in Dubai with some people from the opposition, even the then national, was it the chairman of the electoral body and so on, the intelligence reports were given to the then president, but he didn't really make use of it. The one of 2015 wasn't really a secret.
It was known to everyone. So that of 2019
Finally,
is one.
gentlemen, IPOB falls federal government on non-appointment of Igbos as service chief, and that has been one of the problems, that the country is facing, that the service chiefs were one-sided.
I disagree with that. If you say an Igbo man from the southeast,
Yeah, an Igbo man from
the southeast, that is okay. I know that the chief of defense staff, I think Irabo, so is an Igbo man from Delta.
Delta.
Yes, we have Delta Igbo. Historically, we are told how they migrated and went over.
They are Kitake. We cannot deny them.
We cannot deny
The
them.
truth is that
Ifeanyi Okowa has said, I'm an Igbo man.
Amechi is an Igbo man. He has persistently said so.
Amechi himself?
Yes.
Yeah, he has said it, so we cannot deny them. They are our kids.
What about Wike, who is also from River?
He has
I
not
was
said
specific.
this.
I said
Yeah,
Amechi has persistently said that he is a. You cannot deny the Igbo-ness in him. You cannot.
So if the IPO has said Igbo of the southeast extraction, so one would have understood that, but that is quite bad. This is one of the problems that have led to this ethnicity we discussed. We now see Buhari as one that is anti-Igbo because of his lopsidedness in appointments. I think I support that assertion. It is wrong that since Buhari became the head of state, no Igbo man from the southeast has had the opportunity of being here. Security matters are being discussed, and that is condemnable.
All right, Council, just in 30 seconds, from all we have discussed, what do you say? And then tell our viewers, bye.
Let me quickly develop the angle of the Chief of Defense Staff. You see, that position is advisory. Okay. The real people that handle security are the service chiefs.
Okay.
The position of the
CDS.
The CDS is advisory. He does not control, in actual fact, as those in the military, they will tell you, he does not control one single soldier. But the service chiefs control. The men, the officers, take directives from the service chiefs. He notices something, he tells the service chiefs. It is now up to them how to handle it. They don't take directives from him. They only take directives from
so
government.
So IPOB may be right in a way. And then you finally, Doc.
Thank you, our distinguished viewers. I only pray that Nigeria...
You're still praying.
Yes, I'll keep praying that Nigeria will come out of
Let's
this.
pray without ceasing.
Pray without ceasing. So, thank you for being part of this show, and please remain law-abiding.
Well, our wonderful viewers, we will come to the end of today's program. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching Living TV. Always remember, like we've always said, that Living TV Club has commenced. Come to our office at number 1 Georges Street, opposite Eziama Police Station, and make inquiries. Get yourself involved. Laugh it away, because all works and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Not just that, there are a lot of things to benefit in Living TV Club. Also remember, tomorrow we'll be having our program, also issues of the moment will be coming up tomorrow again, or on Friday rather. So all the programs of Living TV, I'm sure you'll be watching them. Don't forget, Living TV Club on Saturdays. Come around and make inquiries so that you'll be part of it. This is Chinedum Adiele signing off for today.
Heaven and earth will pass away. It is written in the book of Oh yeah. I want to know. Yes, I want to know. Which way Nigeria is heading. One more time. Which way Nigeria is heading. Let's say Nigeria. Which way Nigeria is heading. Oh yeah. Which way Nigeria is heading. Which way Nigeria is heading. One more time. Which way Nigeria is heading. Amen.